talk to you about something that I've been researching for the past 2 years. It's Amniotic Bands Syndrome. I'm going to go through 2 cases with you and talk about how it happens and how it can vary, and how parents and children both react and adapt to this condition. Amniotic Band Syndrome occurs when the inner layer of the placenta bursts, leaving the outer layer intact. This releases the fibrous string-like bands that can wrap around the baby and sometimes the umbilical cord, causing deformations and sometimes even death. According to the website, Amniotic Band Syndrome, this can happen 1 in 1,200 births. In many cases, the bands fuse with the skin and need to be released or cut. When ABS occurs, there are several other deformations that are more likely to occur, such as clubfoot, which happens in 31 to 20% of amniotic band cases. There is also cleft palate or lip, as well as hemangioма, which is a blood vessel birthmark. Doctors, unfortunately, do not know why these deformations are more common in ABS patients. The cause of ABS is unknown. We do know that it's genetic, or that it's not genetic, and that it has nothing to do with what the mother did during pregnancy. All right, our first case is Amelia. She is almost 2 years old, and she is my youngest daughter. Right here are pictures from when I was 8 months pregnant with her. Up here is her hand. You can see the bands are around her fingers. And then right here, her foot appears to be completely normal. So when I was pregnant with her, there was no reason to look to this. It's just that rare. When I was giving birth, it was a 40-hour labor. After 40 hours, I finally gave birth, and it was 3 minutes before she breathed. When she finally took in her first breath, a sense of relief as well as fear came over me. I noticed that her fingers and toes were missing. I asked my husband to go over and see what was wrong with her. When he came back, he told me what was wrong. It was very scary. We cried for days. We didn't know how to react to this. We didn't even know what to call it. We had no idea what it was, and neither did the doctors. After a day, Dr. Segar, my OB, finally came in and told us that she had syndactyly, which is the webbing right here, here, and then here and here. So after that, with that one term, I went home and I started Googling. I'm a worried mother. I Googled for weeks, and finally I came across amniotic bands. And from there, it was just clear it's what it was. 3 months later, we met with Dr. Elizabeth Van Heest, who is a hand specialist in the Twin Cities, where she confirmed the diagnosis, as well as give us more defined information. She suggested surgery on Amelia. Right here and here, they were joined together, and there was a little hole where she got a lot of dirt, as well as right here and right here, you can see the scar. And she has a band here that in the future will have to be released, as well as her toe, this one right here, had a band that needed to be released. So she had that surgery when she was approximately 9 months old, and she had to learn how to crawl 3 times, with and without, and with and without her cast. But she learned, and nothing has stopped her development. She was able to crawl, walk, grasp, talk, everything right on schedule. Nothing's going to slow this one down. The other case we're going to look at is Brianna. She is 23 years old. I met her through an ABS support group on Facebook, which now has over 4,000 members. When she was born, it was, obviously 93. Her doctors didn't know much of anything about this condition. They had very little to tell her. So to help her cope with it, she kept her hands and feet covered. And as Brianna grew up, she got to be a little self-conscious. So she wore big jackets and gloves, stuff like that, so in that way she could hide it. She didn't even hear about ABS, the term Amniotic Band Syndrome, till she was 8 years old. When she met her now husband, she was very nervous for him to find out that there was something wrong. But when he did, he reacted with acceptance and love. She considered surgery for her hand to look more normal, but didn't think that it was worth relearning her daily functions. Her affected hand is stronger than her non-affected hand even, which is pretty amazing. This surgery can be very emotionally draining. In Amelia and Brianna's stories, we look closer at how they and their families were affected. We know that ABS can look different and have different severities. Some choose surgery while others just don't think that it's necessary. We've heard how well they can adapt to their changing condition and how motor skills and development is not always affected. 1 in 1,200 live births are affected by amniotic band syndrome. Not everyone is lucky enough to survive this. Each one of us have their own experiences. I'm happy I got to share mine with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jazz. Discussion.
You can also ask my husband too, by the way. This is Robert. What's up, Robert?
How old is your daughter now?
She's almost 2. She turns 2 in April. This is her with her cast on. That's her one foot. They put casts on to protect from germs and stuff like that. So she had this one and this one in a cast. Her right hand is completely fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And then right here is her other foot that they just had bandaged up. It was hard to get clothes on her. Yeah, she's perfectly wonderful.
We had a 9-month-old outfit that, because of the cast, it got stretched out so much that she was able to year and a half still wear it. And it's like, really? This is a 6 to 9 month?
But she's so cute.
She is adorable. This is my favorite picture of her, actually. She was just so happy.
Do you think people are aware enough of the syndrome or not?
No, that's why we're recording it, so in that way I can put it out there and everybody can see it, because I had no idea what this was. And ironically enough, my husband's neighbor's mom, right?
Yeah.
Actually has this. And he never even knew. I have my babysitter that watches her, right now. Her friend was there every day for the past month, and when I mentioned this as my speech, she said, "What do you mean? There's something wrong with your hands and feet?" You can't even tell. It's such a tiny thing. Yeah.
So when they do the reconstruction, they give you all your fingers, all your toes, stuff.
What they do is they just separate. They can't put bone in there that's not there, and the bone will never grow back or anything like that. They just the way they do the surgery is very interesting, because you would think that for the syndactyly, the webbing, that they would just cut straight down. They don't. They do this weird zigzag pattern and stuff like that. With her syndactyly, it was minor enough on her 2 fingers where I showed that scarring that where you can't. She didn't need to have a skin graft even. Oh, what's happening? Okay, it's not showing. Okay, so, right, Karen, she had the webbing, and her fingernails are all very strange. This one is really thick, like a diabetic nail. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a diabetic person's nail, but that's what that one's like. This one is not even really there, and I've never even had to cut it. It's I don't even know. It's weird. This one is really thick and round, and that one is non-existent. But you can see the scar right here for where it was together. And there was a teeny tiny little hole there. And right here, you can see a little scar. Her thumb was fused to the inside of her palm. It was awful. She would scream because she was doing the baby reflex like this, and she was ripping her own skin by doing her natural reflex. It was the reason why we got to see such a renowned specialist within 3 months. Normally it's a year wait to see her. So we were very lucky. But she was able to walk. She can do everything. It's neat because the ultrasound, her foot looked normal, and that was this foot. The one with the clear missing piece.
You said she was born
Maddie.
in April.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So her birthday's coming up, huh?
Yep.
Maddie, do you have anything to say?
Your daughter's so cute.
She's
adorable.
Yeah.
Paige?
She's a little sweetie.
Do you have any comments?
I had no idea this existed, and I actually have a cousin that has the birthmark.
Oh, really? The hemangioma?
Mhm.
Oh, neat. Yeah, I found a little baby that had it too on her cheek. It was. I think that's very interesting.
Yeah, this was interesting.
Thank you, Jess.